Jak Gunners cheese. Ach tu jak och satini. Ja, ha je katangi daat. Wooch ʼawtudli.át. Ich die Ja, ak kwan kat ak kwan. ʼawtudli.át away. Haji yes. Hosaku we dakakaku. Yisaku. ʼawtudli.át. Hey, they should do a tani with a heart. Ye away ye gachtusteen. With saati goose aya. Hit ye de aya. Kawaha. Fairbanks aya ach ye hawutien. Ja chatka ach shat. Ja ach tla. Du jit ach de tan. Was a see a tea atli. Hetla sachat uti. Ja yis hitti had jiwu yak. Ye awe tu he's. Ja hatuasagu with Fairbanks Day. Kuyitini itu a guessagu. I've never wanted to go to Fairbanks. Aqatlay hooch chatka ha. Het was a good quatish quatikach to kuch. Ye away Fairbanks dach away to kuch. Shkawtudli hatuasagu. We shukait udutsi aya. We bin chi shiki dat pal. Ye tlek yiki ye do sakts. Ye away hatuasagu. Wooch in chasati. Ye away gwallia kutan. Wasa chalchis. Dakade aya. Gachtu kuch. Hechwasagu wasa wanéi koa. Atlain kuu we Alaska. Ja hastu 2 day away. Nak. ʼawtudli.át. Ja chat aya we dachte hin Dach yachwadlak ya yigi. Hel wasachat uti ya yidat ach tu yik Choach walwe dach hastu 2 day away ʼawtudli.át. We nak. Aka haswunik. Ye awa flu yachyati. Ye awa ach tu yik ach tuasagu wooch chanch hati. Ye awe tsik disi. Jinkad ka tleidushu yigi yakwachi. Yigachtu Yak away we zoom too. Hastu daat aya. ʼawtudli.át. Át. Ye awa katu chuch. Ka hastu chunkian ka hastu kanian. A day ye hastu ye. Wegao achu Glilka kunach away. Haushikan. A joy and wait datsu. One kanins. A kachawe kaushikit. Tlingit ya. Just glilka. Yewa ani kach tlil hastu tua oshkuan. A joy tik deni hastu ne Wooch in. Kainach ka sharak aya desai. Kahas away ho tlishke. A deyuch watani. A dusaway yuhan. Kwali ji. Hain hisati with ka. Cajun 1,000 tak anach away civilization haji uti yuhan ka tlike. Ye awa. We day an ka. Dusai aya we day katas uwasa. Ach. Tlach tua oshka. Tlach ka. Dusai aya kinde tu shadi. Ye awe ach tuasagu. Ye sai aya watuasa. Wait. Ye awe hastu tu tlitsin. Woochin aya hasa kaushikit dasa aya. You haskawsha atkin. We hastu gate aya. Watusaku and kanins tlitsin hastu jiye wuti natijin. Achu we glilka adusa tuasagu just glilka the kat tlitsini hastu jiye wutian. Asach tu yaki yai ki koa. Ya wasa haswukayan ya haani. What a chuk tlechosakui achi. Tlechait shukwatan we kahat. Yeah, we gunchi shuhan. Ya achachis yihiti yich. Yata. Yeah, we. A daat aya. You tuchwatan. What hit yich hayati. Kuwataga. What yata. Yata. Yeah, we hanakawani. Yata aya. Ka saat. Saat away ha hiti. Ya ka iti ka. Kosatin we ahteye ti we khawaqi. Kashyan ye wu yish aya we khawaqi. We saat iti seq ya iti ka atude. We kai kajit kat aya khonuk tatke khana. We Kate Snoopy you do a sock. We koya the high we tushatin ya akhit kitin. Skaway we Kate kat the khuni. Woodstock away the khuni with atzi. Yeah, khan has shkawtudlineek. Wasa Wooch khuni has wusatin. Yeah, khonuk khoa. We saati uchja. We khawaki tunachawe. Aka ya yagi khosatin. Kelk dain yinde. Would do yish aya we khawaki. Achra we hen has it was a good to cut we khawaki. Aka ye has ausene. Uhan ka utzaka. Kashio to sene. Skagach to akwa we. The cut we talk. Kashkus art en. Just dog unjen kata we Fahrenheit. Yeach to us a good kunach was a cool Celsius koa. Just the cut the Tlingit on a car has aus a cool. Kechatu at the hotel has to twashko to so cool. Yet at Sukwash 1980 Atlain Washdown Kwan scientists. Ye has yaw ka hatu was a goo. Yet the cut at aya on to a kai. Keshka goose. Meters had to was a go. The cutway scientists think it on a car. Woochin ʼawtudli.át. U.S. Geographical Survey. Equity. Meters 10. Ronald Reagan ka we kashat the honey. Leslu toashku. Asa wasus latinichusatin. Kayak. Just washed on kwani ai. Ka cruise. Wait a ko helwasakwati on ye jiwanean. 12 inches, 12 kagoosh. Just tenths of a foot. Yeah, waka. Yeah, wasatin. Ya hasu ai. Kautusha hit tenths of a foot. Aka meters. Kushia kwasa hasa kaushahi. One kanins. Kashyakuski atawa ataye has jiwane. Gulchi shach 80 sa achi. Adisa du to asaku. Ja, dat yuch a tankiliechi. Etrawe have I ishkashnik dat, ejakachtune. Adasata. Shkashnik dat, ejakachtune. Heksha. Woochin Washway Groups Teen. Masai to asaku.
I'll say something.
Chish.
Tlingit ʼawtudli.át. Ja, yagi. Shkawtudlineek du hidi. Du heen. Woody teak. Tlith heen do jiwu. I daat. I Sean.
Sean. Gosh yak too. Ja, ach shut the tatke. Wooch ya you has owl atkin. We gosh zoom to hechasaku. Naski nach ya has to hitti. We heen tunach ati wutlitik. We tatsu. A got klesh kawada. Ohan kwa how shachet. Ja, hadushi de tu yake. We just hinge a genki Canadian. Just a genk. I got tucky gi just to us go out the night. So again, which was that with you? Okay. Tlach to ashko ye kai, ye high kai. Power outage doubt. Klitza, day away. Gwash a dot you kakitan, a got tehu jig gotiwe kashuk. Don't talk it into being. Okay. Guksa. Ya ke ha wutien. Yisitin ge we ka du kadasi. Gwash ya du Mary Kabil. Hast du shkashniki aya. Dasa dat aya. Ya tliat ge. A dat ye ju tunean. Wush has wud sha dasatsu. Wushu has kalla atka. Ayatla atka. Wush has atli you atli atka. Yata. Ituye tika. Isikuga. Dasawe utulleich kliatke. Isitinike. Bill Kameri. Gwash. Shashi disiawa. Kleka yigi awa yakwahi. Yenda kinyak aya. Ayikdewe. Yaksha. Hawaii day. Yikakwati. Washeawe yawaka. Akatseok akdasatsu. Kautua ak. It's utatewe. Yenda kinyak. Ayikde kwa good. Awe. Yen gachtitakin. Tatin kwa Hawaii. Katki kat aya. Gachtushkak. Gwashkak we yenda kinyak. Jadakasa. Okaya ye wuti. We dukhei hiti. Ya just niche kak aya ye yiti. Ya du etlini. Keshrus yin. Akawe akaye yiti. Kisha ach. Daso yata gatlake. Kutleta. Kadakwina. Outgan aya. You. Ya Hawaii. Kakuwat Yak away we kikahween. Ye kikanahween kashits Yewe okawe ye kakau. Aloha kutasi. Wasak tu ke wasa ʼawtu ke daat. Yan jutine yakaga. Oh, ya. Dasui ya idat ko. Chawasa hatuwasa kutuli yehi hilwasa kakoti chasagutin.
Ach na kuch.
Ah. Na kuchaga.
I think.
Tlell yagikt tlell atudid za kuchu adikt. Gall. Tlaik yisitingit tlaik kadech. Wasa yakwaka. Shukwa owe.
ʼatskane'e we sunburn.
Ah. Gwell kakan showe duduk. Kukuk sagan.
Touch your jack we sha.
Gwell re just do daat. Chush daat. Yuchatan. Shukwa nich kat kuk good. Itch nich kat kuk wata. We kakan. Kayich. Echosagu kakan. Kakan chus itik.
Gwallwe ka awa keat. Snoring.
Yeah. Kukwa kitawa konach. Ach kade ye agurtagan. Ja, du. Ach kade ye agurtagan. Ja, de needs a tinach yati. Kakan ja de needs.
Shlech yagi shaya the hain tourists sunburned ye wuti.
How? Yishan.
Wait. Yakyati, that's a red. Yakyati, lobster. Yakyati.
Khan yachiti has
Khan. Yishan.
Shkawtudlineek. Shkawtudlineek. He's barbecuing himself.
Yeah, away.
Just reminds me of like toots yeah dee do 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 do. I don't know if I said that right.
Oh, yeah, away. Tus katus kla katus ish. Yeah, away. Yek guksa. Daat. Ach, du hast so gut zu Satini, ja, guck. Sunburn, kakachtushi. Ja, du, Kakan tlatsinich, haya, kausagan. Ja, du, kausagan. Ja, guksa. Wait, kakachtushi. Gan. Sagan. Tlechasatin. Ishan. Gwell weha dy ai. Ilkunei. Bugan. Kausagan. Wusagan. Gwasliat achtuasagu. Dasa?
Nation, nation story, sunburn, page 218. Is that what you're looking for, sunburn? Or?
Khwasatin yuch yat yadu yiksha Teshuga. Oh, 38.
218.
Do ya kaganch kausagan. Yataka isitinge perfective kudzati. Long and low kudzati yata. Hechwasaku. Na gwalga gwalga. Achtuasagu chasaku. Ya akishawu tlasha kaushahid. Yata. Gwalga. Ajoy. Tesh achtua ushgu. Ach ya. Kaganch. Ye kagursagan. Ye kagursagani. Yata. Ye oertuasagu. Ichwaji. Ka. Ye oe. Galchish. Achiti dishi.
She Hawaii kuake ka klesh kuat because of trade winds. But kwa Audigan is right above you. So it's Tlingit.
You can tlesh ultin. You can. Galchish. Yata ka wasa. Utatige? Wasa yeji.
Tutish away.
Yewe. Kleinach.
Tlingit
Gwall kleinach ye chat gakwati.
Gusaway Mary.
Gwall we kanaka in. Just at your nechi.
Ganukch. Each cut ganukch.
Oh, you ʼawtudli.át away. Niche cook aya. Kanukch. Or kachanukch. My tai teen. Gwall awa awdana. Wulsayi yes. Elchik wanéi. Just achtuasagu. Just ʼawtudli.át away. Wanéi aya. Yachat kanashu. Gwall Echasagu. Gwall smoothie aya.
Kakachkuk on away.
Oh, yeah, away. Kachachkuk. Yeah, iki. Okay.
Martini tin. Chiguena cut.
Yeah.
Ituasagu, she atakadak, is a tea, oh no, Satish Kunach. How Satish?
Yeah. Gwell cleinach chyd gwti. John away. Tlach daat. Nich cut a kukwanuk. Akawe we martini kakwatana. Ya chlil ko has daat a tukwatan kakachguk. A day. Ya ani day haswutlits. Haswutlahashie. A day haswutlahashie. Okay.
Boozy tlek kahini adanek.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Boozy tlek kahini. I don't know how to say boozy.
Kawashu.
How
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, at the wusi chasatinse. Wursayi. Wursayi, yes. Yet the actuasagui satini. Sa. Yada kakwasha sa. You. Kashejik wanéi. Jadu sa away. Achjide akaushahid. Keshkukwatu. Just cook at kukwatana. Wanéi aya with ʼawtudli.át. Ki a awe. Wanéi at kukwatana. Oh, something like that. I'm just going to rest. Doesn't matter who writes to me. I'm not going to work. I'm just going to drink on the beach as soon as the sun rises. So na is to drink. So there's three of them. To die is usually what that first one is. But it's also to inherit or bury. Drinking. There is another one. So this one is to give a command. But there's another one which is to put like for something to be damp or to be oiled. That's where nates comes from. But you could say kusana would be what do you call it? Humid. But when you have dana, if you put ut in front of it, then that's usually drinking alcohol. So ʼawtudli.át away. Wanéi at kakatana. So I'll start drinking in the morning. No, I'm not encouraging this. I'm just saying that's how you'd say it.
Wanéi, Millie's story with Keishi, here's a good sentence. Kunach take iwa ash kusunt. Just one beer made her a little bit tipsy.
Okay.
Wasa do a sock lightweight Tlingit.
Oh, how? What was the tipsy one? What was the verb for that? We'll do that and we'll go back to the lightweight.
It was kunach take giwa ash kusunt.
What would that be?
Yeah.
So
I found it in Jeff Lear. Did you find that verb too?
Is it stagger or something?
I thought she said it means to feel good. I'm not sure if I found it.
Was that S apostrophe?
Just S in it was KOOLSUNCH.
So we're looking for soon. Huh. Okay. Huh. Okay, we'll look around for it. Let's see. And it might be something that's not really documented. But we could take that one and so you'd probably start with something like, well, we'll look at one in the Raven story maybe after this. In one of the Raven stories. So it would be here. And I would probably use this one with the L classifier. Tlell ulsin, or maybe it'd say tlell ulchin, which would mean they're weak. Just tleiki watin, qoneya ashkanal shain. So you could use something like that. They just have one beer and they're already starting to get them drunk. Okay, we'll give Bill a break. Bill's probably not. He's not that bad. Don't need a program yet. Maybe he's just having one. Just one. Maybe it's a smoothie. I don't know.
Tles Kiwa Judge Sika.
Oh yeah. Oh wait.
Tell the judge you had one. Tell it to the judge. How do you say tell it to the judge? Judge Yasika?
You say Jajanaska.
Judge Yanaska. Tles Kiwa. Tles Kiwa.
I just noticed party isn't even in the verb dictionary. How do you say party? Like, is it just potlatch or what?
Oh well. I would probably use. Let's see what they've got it as. So it's probably under celebrate.
Party did not used to be a verb.
Well,
Yeah,
it's always been a thing.
1973.
Yeah, away.
So I guess it depends, like what we're sort of what the context is. Like, so if I'm telling my kids like there's gonna be a birthday party, I'd say de kutsiti away hasyakh. They're going to observe their birthday. So there's Yawahich means like something happened. Yausahich would mean a person made it happen, made it into an event. And so but this would work for celebration, for a ku'ik, it would work for a party. But if people are like getting together to get drunk, then that would probably be ʼawtudli.át. So the drinking is people are starting to make it happen. And this could become duh. So ʼawtudlineek would be like the people, they made it into a thing. And this usually has something to do with some social recognition, some sort of group type of thing. So that could work.
I meant it in a good way. I wasn't saying everyone was getting drunk. I was sorry. But will you please explain that last one? Because I opened up my book right as you pulled that up, and setting a prisoner free. I have questions.
Which one is that?
Just that last comment, the Tlingit ya gayes hit the oh man. Ya Passover, ya that one.
Oh, here it is. Yeah.
Oh.
We set a prisoner free.
Must be a Bible reference.
Yeah. That one's got pretty. So there's quite a few that are very biblical in here. But at the, and I think it's totally fine because there's a lot of things in here. There are missionaries. Nation story were both missionaries. One of their goals was to missionize the Tlingit. But they also put a bunch of ʼicht sentences in here and a bunch of cultural things, which I think a lot of missionaries probably would have not allowed to go into the dictionary. So I think they did a great job. I think it's fine if they put things, but yeah, some of them are very, so kainach would be one person. Kayes hit is the word for jail, although it's also a clan house of the Kiksadi. They've got an iron house. And so here you have jichanak. So this jinak is, the command form of this. So you say jichwanak. And so that would be, when you say jichwanak, that can mean all kinds of things. That could mean I dropped it. I let go of it like a rope. I released it. It can also release a person, just like khoshishat. That could mean I held on to it, but that could also mean I imprisoned them, or I wouldn't let them go. I captured them. So it kind of depends on the context. But so hit dach jichanak. So that means, and that's saying like, whenever Passover is happening, I let one go.
Goodness, sheesh. I didn't know it was a Christian thing either. I'm not one of those either, so I was just really confused.
There's a few in here, and some of them are more obvious than others in terms of trying to catch them. But
It was probably Jewish. It was probably from the Old Testament.
oh yeah, okay. Okay, Bill's taking us all over the place.
Wanéi,
Ah,
could you go back to the other slide for a second? Okay, I said this. Bilch Yawaka Iyika Yan Yahwa We Palm Tayik Chatlak. Okay.
okay. Gonna cheat. Well, he's talking to Mary, so that makes sense.
He's
Right.
telling her he's just going to sit under those trees forever and wait for her.
Yeah, away. Now we're getting a good blues song or country song.
It seems to me he's singing about it.
Oh, he looks a little sing-songy.
He's got that broken-hearted look, eh?
That's way boy Mai Tai. Mai Tai away. Way. What's not do a song? Has Tahiti. Has the Yucatangidach. Mai Tai. Hawaii ku'uko'a mai kai. Tlingit kainach. Yak e. Jashuku'a. Tetkako'a tlidziko'a mai Tai. Actually, Mai Tai. You do a sock away. Wait. Yeah, away. Khan Hasakawani. That's where the name of that drink comes from, I think, because it's called a Mai Tai, and it was originally Mai Tai, and then that's how they say it in Tahiti, but in Hawaii they'd say Mai Kai. So.
Waikiki.
Oh yeah, away. Waikiki away my Kai ayakakwata na. Yata koa wasa atka kwane. Wasa hatu wasaku. Kawasan. Huh.
I might be saying this wrong, but I can remember Gazusta and Teslin a long time ago when somebody was drinking or someone was drinking, they'd say something like ʼawtudli.át, dunam.
Oh.
I remember her saying that.
He's drinking his
Liquor, booze, nam. I think
Nam.
it's na, but in
Nam.
Teslin, nam.
So in Tussin it's nam. It could be high or low because it just comes from rum. It's lum and haida, same thing. but it just means alcohol. Giwa is typically like beer, but then now or nam is kind of any kind. Like it makes me think of the hard. I'm surprised we don't have a name for wine. You know, I guess we got to sort of. If anybody wants to take the bold move and come up with names for all of them, you can go ahead. I'll name the cookies. I'll name the cookies and the sweets and stuff. Yak was shkawtudlineek.
Wadka ka modka.
Oh yeah, oh that one has Anushihini is what that one's called. So Russian water. That one already has a name. We'll think of others as we go along.
Not kutsihini, potato water.
Oh yeah, you can have that. Douche wine.
That's fun juice.
Wehin. Jesus joy al sheich douche. That's too long. It's getting too hardcore too. That happened when we were trying to translate Easter. We just kept getting longer. We went from Bunny Day to Rat Laid an Egg to Jesus came back from the dead, and so. I think we just stuck with Easter. Okay, what's happening in this one? What are we gonna say?
Bill Tlingit nooch.
Yeah, what?
Do a sock. He couldn't hang.
He went all night. He went all day. It's nighttime.
Noob. Just jokes.
We're not gonna judge his life. It's kind of examine, I guess.
I think he's making an argument to Mary if she doesn't come. This is
Oh.
happen.
Cell ach un chigwchsati, Tleinach chitna teach. A gawe, the cut ye geech anach aya at kakodana. Tatin koa. Nail day. Oh, we gotta just go there now. We gotta find it.
Plus, usually two people can stay in a room, so they're losing money.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, do next day. Oh, so this is a 0. So I gotta change. No, it's in the. So next day. You ace, but stays low. See how it stays low? So it tells you it's an invariable stem. There you go, we're going right back to jail. One gets set free on Passover, but then you go to jail for staggering home. But it could be a little less focused on that. You say, Tatin awa ya akiti kadeka kwagut. Akoe kadin kakwata. That's pretty normal.
Bill, each cut Yana Cook, Yesa, Mary, our June, Bill Daat.
Oh yeah, what? Gustes ach in aya ikursati. Kleina chechet gekwati. just niche kataya kakwanuk, the katya gir anach. Tatin koch itikade kakwagut, daat aya akakwajun. Now it's more, it's kind of sad, but kind of enticing. Maybe kind of desperate.
Itach kuchligao. It kuchligao after they fight.
Oh, yeah, oh, hast du Wooch kuchgau itch. Ja, dat ko wasa at kakwane. Ah. Chakutat pues kalnik ya dat.
Who takes a bath in the morning? This guy is insane.
Atlein hava iqu tatin hast du to asaku, hast du da etasa usi. Hast du ta. A joy hatsu ach to asaku on qanins. Yeah, but he's not a Kanaka. He's not a Kama'aina. He's a Haole. He's from somewhere else. So he don't know. People on the island like to take their baths at night. So
Well, he's got to use all the soap and the shampoo, all the free stuff too.
In the shower.
He's
Like hurting my brain. So
What's the daat bubble bath?
oh, where kukja, but where like a bubbly kukjai utsa, something like that maybe. So and then there's another one like so just as far as time references, and this would be good for anyone who does or did any sort of hunting or anything. There's a really important thing, like, so if we look outside and the sun is just coming up, like we could say it's ʼawtudli.át, but we could also go back into the verbs and then we'll see it's becoming daylight. So you could say this, so just when it's getting daylight. And so if one thing that was really interesting about Hawaii is also it's close to the equator, so sundown sunup's like it's a right on the clock thing. It's not a variable thing like here. So when you say when the sun rises, depends what season you're talking about. So you also, and so yeah, I'd probably use that one.
what's to do with talk suspicious?
Like someone suspects someone else, or someone's acting suspicious.
Like his behavior is suspicious because he's taking bubble bath in the morning. That's suspicious.
So you could say kasiye. So kasiye is kind of strange. You could say it's kind of not right the way he's doing things, but it depends how harshly you're gonna judge somebody. There's a few different ways to say that. But you could say like yehoji, and now you're saying I think or believe or suspect. Kasiye o ade adequasti. I think it's strange the way he's living.
Oh.
Jay, chutlech giwa na un tatge. If he's getting up so early in the morning, I'm thinking he didn't have that much to drink.
Right? Could be. Wanéi yaqina eini. Yak edain aya. Qaqwat the shooch. Qukjatin. Kasha saya Christi basqoa. I think we came close. It was something like there was woodzekuch in there to drive, like ʼawtudli.át. ʼawtudli.át. You could get away with that maybe, because you have ʼawtudli.át is something a person drives around. ʼawtudli.át would be something that people drive people around. Maybe it needs a better name.
Ayanach yiyayat.
Yeah, why? Yeah, why?
Why?
Longer. Kuchududzi kuchuat. Ayanach yiyayat.
Okay.
Longer.
Okay. Or just.
Hawaii, the bus, Yanaka.
Oh yeah, the bus. Yeah, the bus, bro. Okay. Aka away. Ayanach yet ai. Ayanach. Wait, ayanach yayati. There it is. Ayanach yayati at. Ayanach yayati at ka. Kukwatahan. So I will stand there waiting for the bus. So that ka is something you can put onto something. Then you're usually going to have, the verb is usually going to be to be somewhere, to be still, to sit, or to stand. So for example, if we're sitting somewhere and you said, I'm going to go over here to do this thing, I could say, I'll wait here for you. I could also say, I'll sit here and wait for you. So like the actual wait part isn't really there, but you have qa, which means usually to go after something. But it could also in this case means to wait, and then either sitting, standing, or just being still. Usually that's how I hear it. So way yayati atwutitzukuchu atqa kakwatahan. I'll stand there. And you could put a place because he's in these different places. You could add a place as well. Deyach on the roadside. Depends what he's talking about. And we're just kind of making it up too, so we're just having fun.
Kuchte Tlingit naus. Naus. Cleo. Sand on you. Cleo. What cut? Naus. Take a bath. There's sand on you.
Oh, Nich kokaya khatwuti. Achawe tleo tkatachta ityeti. Ya achta it ayak etenka kwa us. We with the shutuyek. So I'm gonna clean myself in the bath. Okay. You got something for this one?
Bill, Dana Jiwu. Okay.
Okay. But he's still talking about himself though, right? Kind of. Dana achjiyeka kwati.
Goulash chish.
I don't know what else to say about it. I guess it's for the bus, right? Oh.
Taking a tour.
Ah.
That seems like a long way to go to get to. I see going around. He could have gone left and then.
Well, they to gwashti to us a good just to cut it away out the team. Daat aya. Oh, what did we come up with? Hold on, let me find it. Talk amongst yourselves, I'll find it.
Kushe way big island. Kushe Cajun gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hot plain. Each hot plain. Yana kuchuch. No, driving the bus along the Big Island's beach. Hot plain. Each cut. Yana kuch. Is that how you say that?
So, yeah, that's a good one. So like each is a reef, niche is the beach, but ik is beach word from the land. And so, but you could say something like we art knach away a da gach to kuch. It's the cutway on kadan a gach to tlingit. Maybe. I gotta work on that last verb. We're gonna drive all around the island so we can see the beautiful land. Then I was trying to think, we kind of had something similar when I was doing this Raven story with Kachwan Ish and Shakshani. And where did it go? So in this one, he's kind of tricking these birds into paddling for him. And so we had Raven looked at all the beautiful sights while holding the basket. And they came up with a da yu akshakink, a katya kashaki on. And so on kadan would be another way to say that. I think the kadan, the speakers I was working with, they never really said that. I think there was plenty of opportunities, but they would say kashaki, which is a verb, and then on kadan is more like an adjective, perhaps. And so so then you have a da yu akshakink. So this, to kind of unpack this verb a little bit, this is a speaker from Cake. So he would say ʼawtudli.át as opposed to ʼawtudli.át. So then we're going to take that and we see the U and the K at the end is telling us it's a it's conjugation. We could look at some stuff later about like the repetitive imperfective, but when they say yu or they'll say, whenever you see the U, there's usually a K at the end. So then, oh, yatluksha, yatluksha kudzati yu. Let's see if we can find that. Kashaqeen or kashaqeen. There's ʼawtudlineek. Daat ʼawtudlineek. Looking it over. Da you ʼawtudlineek. So to put that into a purposive would be pretty challenging. So you could probably say da you ʼawtudlineek. Yes, something like that maybe. On kadan. We're just going to go all the way around the island just to take a look at it. Okay. And yeah, I heard volcano as Yatluksha. It was a blinking mountain.
Tlingit we sha.
Oh,
Looks like Mount Edgecombe.
yeah. Oh, so that comes from like blinking. Okay. Okay. Hujiai.
Neskinach on 3 places.
Oh, Nusk.
Nusk
Three of them maybe.
Nusk Haskashlegewe. 3 beautiful spots.
Oh, okay. All right. Nusk on. Kakwashatin.
Chas away. That's a cliff.
Qitch.
Gate.
Off Kadon Sitin Su.
Okay. Gotta really zoom in. Gosh. An kadishkiti at duchiwu. Yeah. At yahai ayakakashahit. You. Wait. Jaguksa awikunach. Katlaqai an kudzati. Wikats. Kakit. Okay.
Wants to do some
Yeesh.
selfie.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
It's like you just add an sh to the beginning of it, right?
Yeah. Shkakwashhit. Chushyahay shkakwashhit. Maybe. That's kind of doubling the reflexive. My picture I will take myself. Maybe. Really contribute to the whole like narcissism of it all. Chushkhadzakhan. Achawe chakakai chushyahay. Shkakwashhit.
Ish. Tlas Ayanach. Yahayi. Ach sik. Chatyasika. No more pictures, Dad, said my daughter.
Okay. Day away. And then we'll get to the with the prohibitive. So you go down to heat. So you'd have this one. ʼawtudli.át. Prohibitives are generally one of two things. You're going to have a second person imperfective, but you're going to add sh on the front and then the K, underline K, or IK if it ends with a vowel, with a usually going to have ik or yik. So that's one option. Let's see if I can find another option. I'll get it there. Maybe we'll look at. So another option is going to take the repetitive imperfective and then add the shish and then the underline K at the end. I'll have to do some more research on why it's one way or the other. But those are usually what your two options are. It's going to be, you're going to take the imperfective, second person, or you're going to take the second person repetitive imperfective, add shish and that underline K at the end. Okay, sheesh. Kausagu, huchaway bill, shkashnigi. Hawaii kewutien. Taikiki gwas chakutat kagachta ak. Chakudach.át yahai. Jakachtilatin. Aqaawe dasawutusatin. Daat ʼawtudli.át. Deo achtuasagu. Any thoughts or questions? So I thought on Monday we'll look at a bunch of old pictures. I just found a few on just digging around. And just whatever comes to mind, that's what we're going to talk about for Monday. So it'll be kind of just a bit of a prompt there to sort of look at those things. Maybe for the last 15 minutes here, we'll check in about the future form. Just make sure that we're remembering these things so we can retire the future and move on to the next. We did the perfective, we'll do the future. Maybe the command is coming next. Then we could just really get bossy. So there are a couple of things. Ga, u, and qa will be in every single future form. Those three things must always be activated. And that's what causes these combinations. So kaqwa and qaqi and gachtu. And what it does is it really solidifies, you only have so many options. So the future, I think, gets really predictable, although there are a couple of variations in some of them. Depending on the conjugation class, right? So we have 0, na, ga, and qa. A 0 and a na never have anything in front of the verb. There's no k or ye in front of the verb.
Can you make this really big so we can see? Okay, gonna cheesh.
So the ga conjugation must always have k in front of it. So that's why you're going to hear k sometimes in a future verb. Kekwake, right? Kekwagut. I'm going to go up there. Any ka must have ye in front of it. So that's why you say tsu ye ikosatin, ye agurtagan, Ye shot. I'm gonna grab it. Ke shot. I'm gonna catch it. So those ones are kind of fun because they're ye and k. But that's sort of you know, so this one has to be on, the ga. The Irialis has to be on because it hasn't happened. The Irialis says this specifically has not happened. Then the qa has to be on. Qa, qa, every time. And so that's going to affect what the prefix is going to be. The classifier must always be -I. Then the future, the positive and negative of the future is pretty easy to get. The only thing that changes, every future positive, except for invariable stems, will be long and high. Long and high, long and high, long and high. The negative future, except for invariable stems or stems that don't go low, all the others will be long and low, long and low. Kukwagoot, keshkukwagoot. Okay?
Will it have a U?
What's that?
Kukwagoot and kukwagut. Is that a double O and a U?
No, they both have to be double O, but the first one is high. Kukwagoot. The second one is low. Keshkukwagoot.
What was Dasa, the second thing you said? First was for the future, it's going to be Irialis. The second one was Ka or Dasa.
So you have ga,
Okay.
and ka.
Ka.
So a GA, then a U, then an underline GA.
Okay. Okay.
And the other thing to keep in mind is this GA very often becomes a K.
Okay.
Does Irialis mean, when you say it hasn't happened yet, does Irialis mean it's not real?
No, it's just what it's called. I mean, maybe linguists have a different idea of it, but for me, I just say that thing's on, and all that matters is it says the verb hasn't happened. That's all. That's all it means. It has nothing to do with like it's real or not. It'll pop up in all negatives and all futures because the future must mark, like, even if you say it's gonna happen, it hasn't happened yet.
So it also doesn't have anything to do with being imperfective?
No, so the imperfective usually has nothing. Like all of these things are off in the imperfective. Unless you had a negative, like not doing it doesn't do it. So that's where you get tesh ucha, doesn't eat it, not eating it. Classifier must always be -I. So all of the plus D classifiers, so in this case, it has to be 0 or da, sa, or s. So you are going to get these, just these classifiers with a consonant and no vowel. Sha, sh, sha, sh. Those are your only options. The future can never have an I in the classifier. So those are your options. When we start, I think this is stem variation, right? So stem types, you have open and closed. Ends with a vowel, ends with a consonant. For open, you can have regular open or fading, which is marked with this little H, but that doesn't affect this at all. So all the opens, the futures, the positive futures will always be long and high. Yakkaka, yakkuksaka, right? So it just has to be long and high. Let me open the chat. Oh, cheese, chalk. Okay. So let's look at some examples. So here's sewing. So when we look at these, what we're looking at here, ka, all the way down. So our focus with the future is on building the prefix. We could predict the stem to be long and high. It's just going to be long and high. We don't have to worry about any of the what's the conjugation class. It's long and high. But what we have is for the first person and the second person, you kind of have you have optional ways to say it, and it's just totally up to you. Although it seems like speakers in Teslin really prefer this way over this way. Okay? So you have kukwa or you have kuka. This one I wouldn't worry about. I just put it in here because that's how they spell it in the Naish Story Dictionary. Even though they spell it like this, I would recommend you say it like this. The plural first person will always be gachtu. Always. Kaki or gaki. Gachye for the second person, always be gachye. The third person will be, one we got to remember, is there an object on there? If there's a third person subject and object, this A has to be there. So you have akwaka, which sounds like Aquaman to me, but akwaka. However, if there is a consonant and vowel in the classifier, so if the classifier is sa, sha, or sha, or da, it must go guchta, guchla, guchsha, guchsa. So this one has two options, but you don't get a pick. It's determined by the classifier and whether or not there is both a consonant and a vowel in it. The fourth person is gachtu. Gachtu, gachtu. Very similar. Last thing for tonight, anyways. When we get into gachtu, if there is a consonant and vowel in the classifier, it will be t, short. If there is no vowel in the classifier, it will be long. Tu. Same rule applies with that one. Okay, so you would have gaqi, but you would have gaqisa, gaqisha, gaqida.
So you're just making it short as possible again.
Yes, and so if there's no vowel in the classifier, it will be long, tu and e. But if there's a vowel in the classifier, which means there's also a consonant, then this will be t and ke. This will be an I. That's a pretty minor point. Like, it's not going to throw anybody off if you're going to say gachtusa, it's fine. But just in terms of like, and this was something that you'll catch sometimes in the Naish Story Dictionary, they write a lot of things long that should probably be short. But as far as when you're starting to write this stuff and put it down and create your own verbs and just spot how they're being used, That's a good rule to keep in mind. So what we'll do is we'll review these. And so we're kind of running out of time, but we're just going to, it's been a while, so we'll just look at examples, right? And so same thing here. All these are long and high. All these are long and low because we put klesh in front of it. But those are the only two changes we need to make to go from positive to negative. Okay. I will see it, I won't see it. So we'll just take a look at these. So on Monday, we'll sort of kick this up again. I want to just sort of look at these old pictures and talk about them for a while and just be in the language. But then when we come out of our just conversation time, and if you want to bring anything to our conversation times, go for it. You can show us some pictures, show us some stuff you're thinking about. It doesn't always have to be what I'm thinking of and what I'm showing you folks. And then, so we'll go through these, we'll kind of review when we look at a verb root, what kinds of things do we look at when we're thinking about that future? See this one, how it's marked with this little cross? Invariable. Doesn't matter what the mode calls for. When we look here, these are all long and low because they always have to be. Hooray! Gnachish! Bill thanks you for coming up with all those sentences about his life. As soon as he went to Hawaii, he became Pila. He wasn't Bill no more. So I'll put this whole slideshow up as well so you folks can look at it, study it. We are going to be predicting more of these future forms. The last time we looked at the future, and we kind of set it aside for a while, but the last time we didn't quite get to what happens when you put a thematic prefix in there. That does change it. But the biggest thing it changes is it limits the options, because now you can't go kukwa or kukwa, and you can't go kaki or kuka or cookie. You have to go, they have to contract. But you'll see it. And so we'll just look at examples, and then we'll make predictions on what they're going to be. And then ask questions if you got them. Cheesh. Well, not now, but later. Ukecha.
Cheers.
It's Eqasatin.
Cheers.
This